I'm ready. I'm ready.
For me money.
I felt that. I was worried for you, for how you would handle it.
Like, you are a child. You don't need to worry about that.
Rain on me.
Oh, where'd you get that? Like, trash can at school?
I thought you said we.
That's so fun. I'm Melissa.
I'm Ammiel.
And we love video games and movies.
We love them. We love talking about them. We love watching them. We love playing them. We love talking about them.
And in this episode, we go through each click and flick, and we give it a rating based completely on our own opinions.
We like to rate them based on a scale of 1 to 10 or 0
Exactly.
to 10.
Mm-hmm.
And 0 being like, and 10 being like,
Nope.
oh, woo. Yeah.
Thumbs up. Yeah. And everything we say is, I don't know where I was going with that. Yeah. I was going to say uneducated, but here we are.
Here we are.
So,
everything we say, we're just like, speaking for myself, I know I'm like kind of a dum-dum.
I'm a dum-dum.
So there you go. Just a couple of dum-dums, and we like to talk about movies and video games. And so if you want to hear us, whether you like our opinions or not, hopefully you
just
take a
gander, listen, and tell us. If you don't like us, tell us,
Yeah,
love to
tell
hear
us. We'll shout you out if you send us hate comments.
Guarantee. Just kidding. No. But we do have an email at, if you want to talk to us personally, it's at clickandflickpodcast@gmail.com.
That's click and flick, AND spelled out. So don't put that ampersand, y'all. It's click and flick at podcast@gmail.com.
Yes. I almost did the same thing.
So if you want to email us, you can. You can now follow us also on Instagram or TikTok.
And Twitter.
And Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
So you can keep
follow
connected with all of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, follow all of our randomness, all the crap that we put out, and contact us there. Let us know what you want to hear us talk about.
Yep, exactly. I agree with that. So we'll just jump right into it. Today's click is called, what's that?
It Takes Two, baby.
Ooh, that's a good one. I didn't think about that one. Oh, I always think of DJ Easy Rock.
How's that one go?
Proposal. That one's It Takes Two to Make a Thing Go Right.
Oh yeah, it takes two to make a thing go right.
Oh, it's so good. But this game was super unique because when it came out this year, March 26th to be exact, 2021. I knew that it was a co-op game, and I knew that me and Keith had to play it no matter what, because I'm very competitive, and I like the camaraderie aspect. So I was super stoked, and I didn't end up playing it until months later, but here we are. So it is a co-op action adventure game, and the game starts off. Oh, it is on all platforms, by the way. You can play it everywhere, except for Switch.
Actually, you can't play it on a Mac.
Oh, fair.
It's Windows. PC
That's fair.
only.
Windows. I gotta remember that.
I felt like I was in the
Mac
90s again.
True. So no Mac and no Switch. Sorry. Oof. But the game is stunning, by the way. Go ahead.
It wasn't 12 minutes that way too. I think it's the same.
12 minutes I think was only on Windows and only on Xbox, I think. But don't quote me. I don't remember.
Oh, okay. I think I couldn't play that on Mac either.
I don't think you couldn't, or I don't think you could.
Anywho,
so this game is visually beautiful. I hope it wins awards for how beautiful it was.
It was stunning. Well, okay, because I'll say this now for the podcast listeners. Melissa and Keith streamed it on their Twitch channel. So if you want to follow Kita64, is that right?
Yep.
Kita64. She streams video games and stuff. So check that out. But yeah, so I watched you guys stream it. So that's how I was able to follow along with the story since I couldn't play it.
Right. Which I'm glad you were there because it's a fun experience being able to play a great game like that together. It was wonderful. And so the game does start off with the two parents, which is Cody and May. And May has this gorgeous European accent, like some kind of British accent.
Somewhere.
It's beautiful.
In England.
Oh,
darling.
Darling, yes. And they're obviously arguing. They're like offstandishly discussing a routine that was going awry for some reason. And they're outside. And their daughter Rose, who I would say is about 7, 8, maybe 9.
7 or 8, yeah. I thought like 10, but maybe you're right. Maybe it's a little bit younger.
It could be 10 too. She's very intelligent.
She's a child, but not a like young baby child.
Right.
She's like in elementary school.
Easily, yeah. And her name is Rose. And she hears her parents from like her bedroom on the second story, them arguing outside. So she's watching them and she's defeated, obviously, with their conversation because they're talking about divorce. And so she goes and grabs these 2 voodoo dolls, which are super cute, really well made. Why does she have them? I don't know, but they're symbolic.
Where did they
come from? I have no idea. But they're really cute. And so she gets them and she crawls into this little, like, under a table and starts crying on them. Like, it's just like, I don't want them to separate. And by her crying on the dolls, oh, forgive me. Sorry, they come back into the house and they tell her we're having a divorce. And then she goes and grabs the dolls. Sorry. Whoa.
Oh, right.
That's right. Yeah, because they're at the dinner table and they tell her, like, hey, we're divorcing. And she assumes it's her fault. Rose does. So she cries on the voodoo dolls. They come to life. The parents have now entered the clay bodies of the voodoo dolls. And they're freaking out about it. All the while, Rose has no idea that they've transformed into the voodoo dolls. So Rose goes and tries to talk to them. Mom's laying on the couch comatose. Dad is sitting at his desk, like, dead to the world. She's trying to, like, say, like, hey, you okay? You good? And they're not replying to her, so she thinks they're mad at her. So that's kind of where
like they're just ignoring her.
Yeah. It's heart-wrenching, I'll tell you. So, when she's crying over the dolls, just to preface, she does have a book of love, like a red book. And when she had opened it, it was saying they have to find passion and love again, and they've got to, like, work as a team to get over it.
What is the book of love, like, supposed to be? It's supposed to be like a couples counseling book, or is it just like a spell book?
No, I think it's like it's a book about love,
like
just
for
like an
educational for relationship advice. Okay,
exactly. And so fast forwarding back again, how the parents are in their doll bodies and they're freaking out. The book just pops up and he's got these bright purple, eyebrows, and he's a character. He's a passionate of love kind of guy. He's crazy. And so he basically says, hey, y'all got to work on your relationship. Let's get this started. And that's when the game starts. And basically they're thrown into this situation to where they feel like they have to go find Rose and solve the problem to get them back into their normal bodies. Mm-hmm. And you play the game split screen and collectively work together to get past all the bosses and all the obstacles to get over to Rose. Which is a lot of fun, by the way. The collective, like, camaraderie between the two characters.
Yeah.
And they're complementing the whole game. It's crazy.
And the game, the different puzzles that are solved throughout the game that you have to each be doing something different at the same time to work together, all were so creative because they all were so different from each other that it didn't feel like you were repeating the same puzzle over and over again with different graphics. Right. It was like figuring it out differently every time.
Right. It was refreshing. It was so fun to play. And I'm not one for kind of like solving the puzzle to get past the next level. You know, where it's obviously a puzzle. I hate those games, but this was so fun. So fun. I had a blast. Super smooth mechanics. It was really creative. Everything, because you're a doll, everything is super huge to you and massive. And the rooms and the outside looked so pretty. Yeah, let's see.
And were there like scenes that you guys were in like space or in like a galaxy?
Yes.
Because I remember that being so pretty. I was like,
that was also a really fun level because it took place in outer space. So you didn't see like rooms or like stuffed animals. It was like you were in space. It was nice. Yeah. That's because of Moon Baboon. I loved him. He was the boss you had to beat at the end of that one. And you get multiple bosses. Space level was actually like one of my top favorite. Like I have 3 favorite like sections of this game, and that was one of them for sure. There's a part in the game when you're just going through the obstacles and you get to become a wizard, and you're basically playing kind of something like WoW. It was just creatively, it was great. And then you, along that journey, you eventually get into the house and you get into Rose's room and you're trying to get to her, right? Well, she has this stuffed elephant, okay? And it's got a voice box. It's got little buttons on it that you can push, right? But super cute, adorable. They meet up with the elephant and the elephant's like, hi. And she overhears them saying they're trying to get Rose to cry because they think that the tears are going to transform them back into humans again.
Because they think that because her crying on the voodoo doll turned them into voodoo dolls, that's what they need to fix the spell.
Exactly.
So they're trying to make their kid cry.
Right. And the elephant's like, no. She's my favorite human. Like, you're not going to do that. Good. And mind you, that's what I said. I was like, I don't want to hurt this elephant. I love her. She's got this super high-pitched British voice. And so they both look at each other, Cody and May, and they're like, we got to take this elephant out. So they run after the elephant. The elephant gets into an emergency space shuttle that she had like just sitting out on the floor. It was all cardboard and cute. Well, the space shuttle takes a shit because May catches it. And and then she gets into some kind of vending machine. It's weird, but once they get her out of like the prize return, she gets stuck and they're trying to like pull the elephant out of the prize return and her leg comes detached. And like
that's so time, awful.
I was crying. When I say I'm crying, I had tears coming down my face. And oh my God. The elephant's like, oh, it hurts. And I'm like, stop. Oh,
I know. I was like, that is so sad.
And so they detach her foot and they're dragging her to the edge of this like cliff because they're getting ready to push her down to make Rose cry. And the elephant's like, please don't, and it's anyway,
so sad.
That was a scene that I was completely taken aback. I was like, this game took a turn. Okay,
I know, it got real dark in that part.
It was like horrific. And so once the elephant had fallen and Rose had saw it, and she was like, oh my God, starts crying. They both run over to Rose while she's on her bed and stand under her tears, and they're like washing themselves
Rain
with it.
On me.
And they're like, wait, it didn't work. And so the Rose continues to be upset, and the parents are trying to figure out why it didn't work. I think the Book of Love comes in, and oh no, Rose starts writing a letter to them, telling them how she feels and what's going on and what she's gonna do. And they go to try to read the letter, and they're like, this is the answer, we've got to read it. And then the Book of Love steals the letter, rips it up, and is like, okay, go find the 4 parts that I just ripped up. And you're like,
oh, fun.
Cool, awesome. So the 4 pieces scattered, and the first level that you go through is in the family's cuckoo clock, and basically the complementary powers that they have are Cody is able to reverse and pull back time, and May is able to like leave a clone somewhere. It was really cute.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all
rad.
like every level you guys had different abilities of what you had to do like to get past it. So that was cool to watch.
There was like 10 levels of that like complementary powers. It was crazy.
Yeah, and they were all different from each other in like how you had to figure it out and what you guys had to do. Like
it was so rad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I loved that about the game.
Me too, definitely. So the first level you go through their cuckoo clock, and you get the first piece of paper, and then the second one, they're magnets. So they're opposing magnets. So Cody's blue, May is red, or vice versa or whatever. And they go through a snow globe.
One is positively charged and one is negatively charged. So you guys are pulling. One pulls, one pushes.
Correct.
Away.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that stage took place in their snow globe where they got from where Cody proposed. It was really cute. And the third level is the book sets them down, and he calls this portion of the learning therapy passion. And Cody had a garden that he let die. So Cody's kind of brought to the spotlight. Right? Can't keep succulents alive. Thanks. So they go to Cody's garden, and their complementary powers is May is a watering can kind of thing, and Cody can become plants, and it's really cute. I love that part. It's so adorable. But a good part.
Yeah, he like jumps in the soil and like can shoot things as like a cactus, right?
Yes, and he becomes like a flower and like a tomato and a potato. I know, I love it.
Oh my gosh!
And at the end,
that's so creative,
right? Like I need to meet whoever made this game because it's so good.
Yeah, how fun!
At the end, they get to Cody's plant, which ironically is named Joy, that he let die. And so at the end, May goes, like, once they defeat her, May's like, I'm sorry. And she's like, why are you sorry, the flower? And Cody's like, no, it's my fault. And the flower's like, exactly. It's your fault for letting your passion die. May is not responsible for that. You are. And I was like, oh, girl, we pulling out the cards today. Because, like, most games are just like, yeah, Like, you two are responsible for each other's happiness, blah, blah, blah. And that's not the case. I thought it was so rad that they implemented that.
Yeah.
Oh, I was a mess at that point because I was like, yeah, that's right.
That's right.
That's right.
You did let your joy die.
You did. And so after that little level, you get into the 4th level of finding the last piece of the letter. And the 4th level is May's time to shine, and May used to be a singer, so they implemented music, and it was, when I tell you that this was my favorite level, it was so cool. May's power was her voice, so she would like throw her voice all sassy like, and Cody's superpower was a cymbal shield. It was super cool. It was so rad. And so they go through the obstacle, and they have a tribute to Rainbow Road in there, which was really rad.
That's cool.
Yeah. And at the end, May performs for a bunch of glow sticks, which is rad. They're people. And as she's singing, she floats up, and then Cody floats up. And then by like the powers combined, they kiss. And it's really precious. It's really sweet. Because they've like, as the story had gone on, you've seen them kind of like grow back together, which is really cute. And then they find the 4th piece of the letter, so they put it together, and they at that point they get back into their bodies. And fuck's sake. And the letter, I need to read this to you because it's this broke my heart into a million shards. So the letter says, "Dear Mom and Dad, I'm sorry I did this to you. I know how to make everything good again." I'm gonna start crying. Oh my god. This game,
Don't cry,
dude.
don't cry.
I can't, no. Ugh. All you have to do is stop fighting. I know I'm not a perfect daughter. I'm sorry I don't like to brush my teeth. Oh, I'm sorry I read books after bedtime. I'm sorry I don't put the toys up where I should. I know it's my fault you want a divorce. Like when we go back to the age of the child, 7 to 10 years old, like, you are a child. You don't need to worry about that. That is the last thing
I know
that you should have to think about.
But it's sad because, but it's so sad to me because it makes me think like all of these things that she's listing, these are things that like probably every night are points of contention for the parents to be like, you put her to bed. No, you go make sure she brush her teeth. So she hears them fighting with each other over her. And now is like thinking like, oh, these are the reasons why they fight. It's because me. And it's like so sad.
Yep. Absolutely. Like, nail on the head with that one. Absolutely. And then the last bit of it, it says, "I'll leave you alone so you can become friends again. You should be friends. I love you, Mom. I love you, Dad. P.S. I have my pocket money to buy you a bus ticket. Don't worry. I packed a sandwich and a lollipop." Oh, and so in reading that letter, they go to find her. They know where to go, obviously, the bus stop. So they walk all the way over to her, and she's like, "It's okay. You guys can go home. It's fine. I'll catch a bus. I'll leave." And the parents are basically like, "No, honey, this was never your fault, and we're staying together ultimately, so it's fine." It just killed me inside. And they find that she had the Book of Love in her backpack, because they picked up her stuff to go walk home, and they saw the book, and they're like, "Huh, where'd you get that?" And she's like, "Trash can at school." And so it was just a reality slap in the face. It was so good and heart-wrenching.
I was kind of confused at the end if they were staying together because they kissed, but then when they found her at the bus stop, they were like, oh, don't worry, no matter what happens, we'll always be friends.
Oh, yeah, something like that.
So I'm like...
But I just assumed, I guess.
Yeah, because they kissed. So it's like weird. But just because you kiss doesn't mean you're not... I don't know.
Right.
But they didn't really, like, explain.
They did not say outright, like, we are not getting
either
divorced.
way.
I put those words there because I just...
Based on their, like...
Right, their actions. Because they, like, look at each other when they're talking, kind of, like, longingly. So I...
Like...
Your imagination can wander about it because honestly, there was no, like...
They leave it, like, vague. Yeah. I think they leave it that way on purpose so that you, like, speculate about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
But
what were you going to say?
I'm not but I'm just not... But yeah, but it is confusing because I'm not sure if they... If the whole thing is for them to fall in love again. Like, that's like the way that they... Right, like them breaking the spell is them falling in love again. But then once they're humans, they're like, well, we don't know.
It doesn't say outright either.
If it says.
They'll explain to Rose that the divorce is not her fault, which will surprise Rose. The parents explain that whatever happens, they'll always be there for Rose and they'll always love her. So that is the parting like discussion. Interesting. Wow. I just kind of went with it too. That fact that you stopped me and now I have to like think about that. I'm like, it's going to keep me up tonight. Watch.
About whether they got together or not.
Yeah. Like whether or not they solidified it.
It's hard. Like that situation is hard because there are some marriages that it really is the best thing to like get divorced.
Yeah.
It is like for the kids, it's better for the parents to not be together.
Some people shouldn't, yeah.
Yeah, and then sometimes it's like people are able to work things out and, you know, get back together.
Make it through and like not be a toxic environment.
Yeah, grow and be better.
Exactly. This, however, I mean, despite the change, not the change, but just the different understanding of the ending, I'm still giving this 10 clicks out of 10. I totally am. Yes. I
loved
had a blast, and I didn't think I was going to have fun. But I loved it. Everything about the game was beautiful. I only got frustrated like once or twice. But a solid game. Play with somebody you love. I don't care who it is, but that game is so worth it.
Yeah, it's a really cute game. I would probably give it like an 8 out of 10.
Okay. I'll take it.
Because I don't like how they kiss at the end. And then they don't make it clear, like, what they're going to do.
Yeah, what the plan of action is.
Let's kiss. I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird. So I don't know how I feel about that, like, that message. Because I feel like they should be more... I feel like it would have been nice for them to know what they wanted to convey with that.
And also, too, for the child, like, if they decided to ultimately stay divorced, it should have been, like, somewhat in what's the word? Like hinted at? Like, it should have been, like, hey, we're not staying together, but this is not your fault. Like, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if that's what breaks the spell, like, if what breaks the spell is them putting the letter together and learning that that's what what she was sad about, then they can fix it by like saying, no, it's not your fault. But then why did they kiss at the end? Was kissing what broke the spell, or was it the letter? You know what I mean? Like,
right. Well, the book says the letter, but how did they get the fourth piece, kind of thing? So it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? But but I feel you. I get it.
It's just not sure. But I do think it was like really stunning. I think that it was so creative. Each level was so different and unique from the one before it. And it was like you didn't know what was coming next. I thought it was really fun to watch.
Same. Well, I'm glad you liked it.
How long do you think it took, like, total gameplay in, like, hours?
There are mini games in the game which are super fun, but they have no progression to the story. So with that taken into consideration, it took us about 15 hours.
Wow.
About. Yeah.
That's like a good
14, 15, yeah.
Gameplay.
Yeah, I was told initially 12, but we got 14 out of it, and I'm not complaining. I was loving every second of it, so.
You probably spent more time on the mini games and stuff.
Yeah, we definitely played numerous times, that's fine. I'm competitive as it's been. All right, so you want to do the flick? Are you ready?
Yeah. Right. That was a fun game. Let's move on.
Yes.
Okay, so today's flick is I Care a Lot. And this was written and directed by Jay Blakeson.
Why does that sound familiar? Maybe I'm thinking of like a Jake. I don't know.
Okay, I was gonna say the only thing that I kind of saw on his filmography that was like that I recognized was Gunpowder on HBO that had Kit. What's his name?
Oh, Kit Harington or.
Yeah, Kit Harington in it. Yeah,
something like that.
So that's the only like other thing I've seen him in, or I've seen or from him that I kind of recognized.
Got it.
And it stars Rosamund Pike as
what
Marla.
A name! Oh
yeah,
God.
She stars as Marla, and she's basically a con artist who takes advantage of the elderly by getting their doctors to sign things that say they can no longer take care of themselves, and then she goes to the court and becomes the state's like appointed legal guardianship over them. She ends up selling all their assets so that she can make a pretty penny for herself, and she thinks that she has this game figured out. She's like, yeah, this is what I do. She's very like definition of girl boss, where
yes.
It's like, I'm going to fight to the top no matter who I step on or how many people I hurt or That's like this girl's attitude, right?
100%.
Where she just is like she's like, there are no good people in the world. If someone says they're good, they're bad. They're just dumb. And
that's her that's her monologue in the beginning, huh? That's right. That's right.
And she's like, I am gonna do what it takes to be successful because I'm a woman and female power.
Like, don't get me wrong. I didn't want to shit on the fact that she was a female and doing the damn thing. I did not want to shit on it. But the minute you get elderly people involved and you start shitting on them, that's where you lost me. I'm sorry.
Is where
it's not okay.
This is where I was like, oh my gosh, this whole first, like, this movie is going to give Melissa anxiety. Like, the way they treat the elderly in this movie, I'm like, I felt bad. I was worried for you, for how you would handle it.
That's probably why I had a panic attack during it. Like, honestly,
I almost did in the very beginning. How she was being treated, it was making me so furious that she was getting away with this stuff. And I think also in light of everything that's been happening with Britney Spears in the news the past few months, and especially like I think it was like this past couple weeks that they announced that her dad was like petitioned to end the conservatorship and stuff.
Right.
And so like this type of thing has been like brought to light
it's been
more.
Heavy, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that makes it so sad is that this happens like in real life, and Britney Spears is one example, and she's like the most famous one because she's like the face of it right now. Yep. But because she's like a pop star celebrity, but the people who this is really still happening to,
really
like,
their reality, yeah.
And the majority of people this happens to are people who have disabilities or people who are elderly.
Yep.
And
yep. Oh, and
people are able to just come in and like take, like legally kidnap them and take advantage of them and take all their money, and it's just not right, folks.
In the beginning too, that court scene of the guy who was trying to,
yes,
was he trying to see his mom because he walks into the retirement home or whatever it is, and gets in trouble.
Exactly. So he's trying to see his mom, and she's like, she basically, anyone who's in her care, she doesn't let them have phones or visitors, and she keeps them like drugged so that they stay confused, basically. And that's how she makes her money. So one of her wards is, has this son who she like doesn't allow him to see, and he gets really mad. So he like tries to attack the security guards at the nursing home and just makes things a lot worse. And he's like, "You bitch, I hate you. You ruined my life. I can't see my mom." It's really sad. It's really awful.
That part killed me. Yeah.
But yeah. And it's sad that the protagonist is someone you hate the whole time.
Yeah.
It gave me the same feeling as Uncut Gems, where I was like,
yeah, same. Mm-hmm.
Is this woman Adam Sandler's asshole? Because
the equivalent, it's uncanny.
Because I smell bullshit. Just kidding.
Oh, good comparison.
So one of her wards, who she has, like, dies, and she needs to fill the vacancy so that she can keep making money. And she gets information from this lady, from one of the doctors that she works with, and she is like, supposedly they call her a cherry, so she's supposed to be like this ripe for the picking, like doesn't have any family or any ties with anybody. She has money, she has a house, and she's starting to get on my nerves. The doctor's like, I don't really like her, so I can just say that she's crazy, and then you can take her off my hands. She has no family, no one's going to question her, yada yada. This is all great. So they're like, perfect, let's do this. Marla and her partner Fran, who they work together and they're also lovers, they basically like stake out her house and see that she lives alone and stuff, and then goes through with the plan. They're like, this is great, let's do it. So little do they know that she actually isn't a little old lady who lives alone. She actually does have ties to a family, and it's a pretty powerful family. It's the Russian mafia.
Yes!
And not only is it the Russian mafia, the mafia boss is none other than Tyrion Lannister himself. Peter Dinklage. Dun, 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 but in Russian.
It actually sounded Russian.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, when I saw him, I was like, oh, here we go.
Here we go. Things are going to get good right now.
Hell yeah.
So he hires a lawyer to go and try and intimidate her, to let his mom out of the nursing home, and she's like, who are you? She doesn't have any family. And he's like, don't worry about it. Just let her out. We'll give you $100,000. And she's all, make it $5 million. And he's all, how about 300? And she's all, ooh, million. He's like, 1,000. She's like, nope, that's not enough. Sorry. So she wants more money. She ends up going back and forth a little bit. They keep trying to like one up each other, her and the Russian mafia. I just want to say really quick before I move on with the plot. There's one scene that I don't know if you noticed this. It literally lasted like 3 or 4 seconds, but Peter Dinklage is sitting in his chair and he has like a shaved undercut with like a ponytail, but he's literally sitting there and his little ponytail is like on his chair like this. Like it's sitting on the top like that.
No.
Just resting like bloop.
Oh, no, I didn't see it at all. That's amazing.
I was all, hey, his ponytail's like has a little headrest too. That's nice.
Oh, I love
really
the
funny
ponytail look too on him.
I loved the ponytail look. That was good. Anyway, where were we? So they're going back and forth. The mafia ends up like trying to, like, they're obviously trying to like threaten her to get her to let the mom go. Right. She finds out on the news that the doctor she worked with, that the mom's doctor, was shot in her office. And then she runs home to Fran and is like, we gotta like have a plan to move forward. Right. Fran's like, I want to just skip town. Let's just go. And she's like, no, I want this money still. We just need to be safe about it. Like, well, okay. This character's lawyer, just selfish, you know?
She's extremely selfish and reckless, to say the least. Like, she's I feel like she was in with the judge because
yes, definitely the judge is in her pocket.
She had so many cases and won over so many clients because she could talk the talk. And when the case was brought to that same judge with the lawyer that was supposed to be representing the lady that's in the home currently, he was like, I don't have actual like power of attorney
proof
right
that
now.
You're her like legal attorney,
representative,
because she never signed a retainer.
Right.
Because Marla's like, well, I know you can't be her lawyer because you weren't her lawyer already, and she's been without contact, basically. So she cannot call you or sign anything for you. So if you don't tell us who you're working for.
But once he was out of the picture, once he couldn't move forward with getting her out of the home, he hired a female hitman to kill that doctor. I saw it. I synced it. It was so good. And I was like, yeah, okay.
This movie had a lot of, like, I want to say, like, pandering, like, feminism, where it didn't really feel like feminism. It just felt like like, it's feminism if a woman acts like a man, right? And I'm like, yes, exactly.
Because, who was it? There was somebody, it might have been Peter Dinklage, his character. It might have been his character that I thought was going to be a female. By the way the intro and how it was moving, I thought it was going to be like an all-female movie. And I was like, oh, but I get you. Yeah.
Yeah. But there were just certain parts where I'm like, okay. Like, there was one part where the lawyer automatically assumes that the doctor is a boy, and he goes, the lawyer says, oh, this doctor, what did he say about it? And then the girl's all, oh, the doctor's a she, by the way. It's a she doctor. It's a female woman doctor. Oh, I bet you couldn't think a woman could be a doctor. I'm like,
yeah.
I was like, yeah.
I definitely
don't think that conversation would happen that way in real life. Now, I'm exaggerating, obviously. She just goes, she's a she. The doctor's a she. And I'm like, okay, but like this person who wrote this, like, I feel like in real life that conversation would go, if someone doesn't know someone's gender, they say they or them, right? They're like, oh, what would the doctor say? What did they do? You know what I mean? I feel like that would be the more common thing for the lawyer to have said.
You would think.
And then but I kind of think like they wrote that so that like someone sat down, you know, the man who wrote the script sat down and said, this person thinks that doctors are men.
Yeah.
And this woman's going to prove to him that women can be doctors. Because guess what, women? You can be doctors. I'm a man and I say so.
Inclusive.
It kind of felt like forced female, like, forced, like, girl power, which is, like, I felt like this movie was just, like,
there were just some things that weren't brought to light. Like that female hitman. I was like, I see it. But other situations that happened just like that, I was like,
you know what I kind of feel like this movie was? You remember when Bic came out with, like, pens for women and they were, like, pink?
Yes.
I feel like that's what this movie was like. It was, like, the pink tax of, like, action mafia movies. It was like, let's throw the girls a bone, but don't let them be in charge of making it.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. I agree.
So she ends up getting caught by the Russian mafia, and they like drug her. He's like, okay, get rid of her. They put her in a car and push the car off of a cliff. Well, they make it so the car drives itself off by putting a thing on the gas.
Yeah.
And
it was very elaborate.
Yeah. It was very, okay, and here's where my suspension of disbelief goes poof, because he's like an expert killer.
Mafia, yeah. Yeah, like,
why would he not make sure she was dead?
Bro.
They always make sure they're dead. Why would you just, like, send off an alive body?
I don't understand. Chloroform can kill people, yes. But it's primarily, like, it's in high doses. So all they did was chloroform her.
Right.
And then when they shoved the tube up her nose, I thought they were filling her lungs with fluid, not her stomach. My brain didn't connect the two. And so I thought they were filling her lungs. I was like, oh, that's smart. No, they filled her stomach with alcohol, not her lungs.
So that it looked like she was drunk driving.
Was drinking.
But so what they should have done was fill her lungs with water and then send her off the cliff so it looked like she drowned.
Yep.
But they already know she's dead before she leaves the car.
Yep.
That's what they should have done.
Yeah, that was stupid.
They should have beat her lover to death, not within an inch of her life.
That's right.
I'm just kidding. But these are two, like, loose ends that are just totally... I just don't believe that an expert killer, someone who faked his own death, who killed his own, like, buddy...
Yep.
Like, we know... I've seen Breaking Bad. I know that they make sure people are dead. Right?
They do.
I'm really lying. I haven't seen Breaking Bad all the way.
You're not far off, though. I love Breaking Bad, and yes, they do.
I watched the first couple seasons.
Their people,
but but that's anybody, right? You make sure the job is done. Why would you just, like, leave someone breathing and walk away?
But then the movie would have been over.
Exactly.
They had her,
which is a flaw in the writing. What I have to say to that? That's a flaw in the writing, because if you get to a point in a story where you have to, like, this question comes up and you can't get around it, I don't think the answer is to, like, just skip it and keep going toward the ending you wanted to write. I think that if you get to this point in your storytelling, at some point you have to be like, okay, what's the logical next step for my this character I'm making to do next? With the situation they're in, and it doesn't always it's not always going to lead to the ending that you want them to get to.
Right.
if you're setting them up in situations that they can't get out of, right?
Because then when she survives it, she goes to a gas station, pays a guy $50 to call her partner, Fran. She doesn't answer her phone. And why would she answer her phone to a random number? Like,
exactly. When she knows that she's like, oh, she didn't answer. Something must be wrong. Or she didn't answer because it's a random number.
Exactly. Like, the mafia's out to kill them. Why would she answer her phone?
Right. Also, she changes literally right in front of the guy.
Yes, she does. In a very
that is so
bra.
dumb.
Yeah.
In a see-through bra. That is...
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It was uncalled for. It was uncalled for.
I don't know any woman who would do that. I don't know any woman who would write a character to do that.
Not even near death, I wouldn't have even done that.
She's like there at the cash register buying a t-shirt and is like, ooh, change. Dries off her wet body and see-through bra and then puts on. And as she's naked is like, hey, can I use your phone? I'm like...
$50. Can I use your phone?
I'll give you $50. Let me use your phone. As if what she's doing is totally normal. Yeah. Like...
Yeah. Like, I get they were trying to play her off as kind of like a sociopath. Like, oh, like I have no sense of direction. I'm ape shit right now, taking my clothes off. Like, but it didn't work. I feel like it didn't read.
I feel like they wrote this character to be like, women can be men too. And like... like she like because literally all she's doing is like things that the patriarchy is like deems as like, this is powerful, this is success, this is like top dog energy or whatever, like which really there are like those are not really qualities that like a successful woman typically has. Like, I know lots of successful women who are CEOs and like doctors. Yeah, believe it or not.
Yep, absolutely.
Lawyers who have morals. Right. You know what I mean? It's not like this idea of you have to be amoral to be successful, right? You have to have no soul or conscience.
Right. Not I'm a badass, but like I'm a ticking time bomb kind of feel like.
Yeah, but in their head, their thought is I'm a badass. Like that's their narrative of it. But in real life, it's not badassery at all. Because what's way more badass is rescuing a dog. Yeah. And helping the elderly. Helping the elderly is badass. Not taking
being an advocate for the elderly. Yeah.
Yeah. Being an elderly ally.
I like where you're going with that. I might just start my own company, be a CEO, and be an advocate. I'm not even joking, but it would be a terrible career path for me because I would cry and get too attached. So there's that. Anyway,
or it would be a great one because you would actually care.
I would give a shit. I really would.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, they both survived this hit because even though she was there tied up with the mafia mob boss right in front of her, they're all go off and kill her, but I don't want to really make sure she's dead. So she comes back and does a whole switcheroo on them. She kidnaps the mob boss, Peter Dinklage, and like she ends up like tasing his bodyguards because she's like disguises herself, and then drives his car out, chloroforms him, or uses some kind of tranquilizer. I think she actually uses like a dart, and strips him naked and leaves him out like on the road to be found, basically. When he's in a hospital and she's sitting there and she's like, hi, so you were found as a John Doe, and that means that you automatically have a legal guardian, and that's me. And now I'm in charge of your life and your mom's life, so... Ha ha ha.
I meant to look this up, but continue. I don't know how legal that is. Like, if that's the reality of the situation. But anyway, keep going.
I don't know if that's the reality either. But it is for this movie. So for this movie, I'm willing at this point to like suspension of disbelief because they're creating their own laws in this universe. The other parts that I was like, okay, no, I don't. But whether or not that's legal, it might be, it might not be. I wouldn't be shocked if it was, right? Just because of the other things in this movie that I know are technically legal but are very like horrendous, you know. So they basically come to this deal where he's like, okay, game recognize game, and let's work together. And she's like, okay, and they boom in business and start this like global company where she's like hiring guardians all over and taking advantage of like people at a much higher rate than ever before, making billions. And she goes on the news and is like, oh yes, I'm such a hard worker and I care so much about these people and we're gonna go on and this is just the beginning, blah blah blah. But as she's leaving, she is confronted on the street by the man from the beginning of the movie whose mother she was taking advantage of. And he's like, you bitch, my mom died and I never got to see her. And he, boom, boom, shoots her in the stomach and she my favorite character. Down.
Yeah, she's donezo.
This is her comeuppance. She's dead. After a life of successfully ripping off people who are vulnerable. She dies a millionaire in the arms of her lover.
That was sad. When Fran was like really upset, like that, that hurt me. But I didn't care about Marla.
No. And I honestly shouldn't care about Fran. For some reason,
right.
Her character is like, the movie portrays it, and as you're watching it, you feel like she's less guilty with everything because you don't see her as involved. But just the fact that she knows what's going on, she's just as guilty. So even though you don't necessarily feel as much hatred for her, like you should, because she's just as bad. Yeah, she's just as bad.
I'm not saying that you should wish bad upon people. But God's timing is always right. Yes. I fucking rang a bell. I was like, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She deserved it. Anyway. But
the thing is that no one in this movie is really a good guy.
True. Yep.
And it's like, I
agree with that.
What's with that?
I would say the mom, Peter's mom, was the most innocent. I mean, she did choke out Marla.
Only because all of her, that girl, like, his mom, she wasn't just, like, an innocent old lady.
That's right. She was part of the mafia. Yeah.
She's part of the mafia. She was once not the mother of the mob boss. She was once probably the wife and girlfriend of the mob boss. True. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not
Who was probably much more involved with a lot of stuff. So I'm sure this woman has some badassery under her belt. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah, but you're not wrong. Like every character in this movie had something wrong, and they were not a character. They were not a lawful good person at all.
Yeah. Like the mom is played by Diane Wiest.
I knew she was so familiar. Mm-hmm. Her voice, I was like, I know you.
Yeah. I thought you said Wiest.
That's my part. I don't know you. I don't know. You hyped me up with the Weast part, and I was like, oh,
I know. We're just now quoting random cartoons for fun.
Anyway.
What would you rate it?
You want to go with my rating first?
I'm interested. Yeah.
I have to... Listen, I have to give it 0 flicks out of 10. Not even Peter Dinklage gets a 1, but I don't get me wrong, I adore him. But this movie hurt my insides. They made me want to throw up. It was good in that fact that it was something I was like, this is worse than a horror film for me. Knowing that elderly people are being taken advantage of is like my personal hell.
Yeah.
And so it is
because it's real life. It's not like a made up story of like these people doing bad things. It's real life people do these things. And in real life they think that they're fine. Doing like good. They think it's fine.
Well, not doing good, but they're doing
not
good for
doing
themselves.
good. But they can justify it because they're like, it's my job, it's my livelihood, this is my living, I'm just doing this as blah blah blah. And it's like
right.
It just doesn't. Yeah. It's just
so it's a 0 for me, but it's bad. It was just bad. Anyway, what's your rating? What would you give it?
I feel so only knowing that our rating systems don't really have to do with if it's a good movie or not. It only has to do with if we like it or not.
How we feel about it.
Like, it really... I probably will. Oh.
Would you rewatch it? Would you? That's the question to ask. Honestly.
I wouldn't rewatch it. I would give it maybe a 3.
Okay.
I think like as far as rules of filmmaking, like dialogue and like filming and all that, like if I'm going just based on that, and if I was actually going based on, is this a good movie, I would give it a higher rating, like a 6 or 7, because I just don't think that the female main character is actually a good female representation. I think that it's like, I think they just wrote a male character and cast a woman to play it. Like, that's how it felt to me.
Oh,
and it was like, I just don't think that should like pass as someone like writing good female representation. I think that you should actually get into the mind of a woman and understand how it works.
Yeah.
Because she just didn't feel like the things she said were
attributed to.
It just felt like
to that.
She had a male perspective. You know what I mean?
Not only that, too, because I can see where you're coming from, and I think I agree with that for sure. Especially with how she acted and the things she said, especially at the end. The end where she agrees to work with him. Yeah. I was shocked, and I immediately deemed it a terrible movie. Because for that to be an ending, for them to just agree to partner up, I was like, no, this is not how it should have went. That was terrible. That was a terrible turn. So I don't feel like a female would do that.
And there's just so many things on top of that that then were like, it was like forced, like pandering. Like female pandering, because then it's like at the end the guy asks, so are you a mouse or a lion? And she's all, I'm a lioness. Like, okay, you would just like like, don't forget about my vagina. Like that's really how it felt. Like, I'm all okay, girl, like we get it. Like,
oof. Oh God. I didn't want to remember that part.
I just felt like it was... I feel like they were trying too hard to be like... look at this strong female character, and it just felt pandering. It kind of made me feel like the same as Captain Marvel felt that way too, where it was like, women can fight too. Like, don't tell me that a woman can fight too. Just show me a woman fighting and it'll be fine.
Oh, don't get me started on that. I had a whole thing about that. Yeah. Oh. I agree, though. I agree.
Yeah, I just don't need, like... I don't need everyone to be constantly telling me that I can do anything despite being a female. Like, that has nothing to do with, like, it's not an obstacle for me to overcome. I literally am just going to live and do whatever the fuck I want as a human.
100%. If I can say it louder for the people in the back. God damn it.
It's so funny. It's so dumb.
It's so dumb. But, I think, I mean, would you conclude this? Like, is that...
In conclusion...
Do you feel... So, like, fulfilled? Yeah.
Yeah. In conclusion, yeah, that's it.
Okay. Sweet.
That was fun.
It was I had a blast, and I can't wait to do it again next week.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
So, thanks for listening, guys.
Yes, thank you for tuning in.
We will be back again next Tuesday.
Yes. And feel free to subscribe, follow, comment,
leave
comments,
a like,
questions, concerns. Yes, leave a like,
leave a comment, leave a lick.
I love it. Leave a lick. Yes.
Send us suggestions of games and movies you want us to talk about, and we will try to get to them. Just kidding.
Yeah. We will do our best.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We definitely want to. We want to hear from you guys.
Absolutely. So on that note, we will catch you guys in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.